Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the most important recording projects ever. And boy, have I got one for you. Actually, a couple of you mentioned it, and I was very happy that you did, because it deserved to be mentioned. It's the Naxos Johann Strauss II Complete Orchestral Works Edition. Wow, on 52 CDs. 57 minutes, 46 seconds, 57 hours, 46 minutes, and 13 seconds. That's what it is. That's a lot of Strauss. And it ain't all waltzes. There are overtures, there's ballet music, it's not waltzes, there's gallops and mazurkas and marches. And okay, yeah, it's mostly shorter things. Although the big waltzes are pretty considerable. They're basically tone poems. 10 to 15 minutes long. They're pretty serious stuff. If you do it with repeats and with, the complete introductions and all of the stuff, the orchestration is often gorgeous. Most of it was published at one point or another, but it must have been very difficult gathering all of this material together and doing the necessary research. And that's what goes behind a really serious project, which this is, a serious project about not so serious music, light music. And I love light music, because light music is often great music. It just happens to be light in character, and there's nothing wrong with that. Great music is great no matter what you do to it or what kind it is. And I have to say, some of the performances here, there are people who will have preferences for the performers. There are several of them. You've got a bunch of orchestras, the Slovak State Philharmonic Košice, which plays really well, the Slovak Radio Symphony, the Polish State Philharmonic, the Austrian Radio Symphony Orchestra under Alfred Walter, Johannes Wildner, Christian Pollack, Oliver Dochnani, Michael Dietrich, Peter Guth, Franz Bauer Teusel, Jerome Cohen, Richard Edlinger, and Alfred Eschwey. Quite a collection. Different artists, different conductors, but all dedicated to the proposition that there is a lot of terrific music that deserves to be heard by Johann Strauss Jr. And that's really the point. When a composer is popular, as Johann Strauss II was and is one of those popular classical composers in existence, and we only know a tiny fraction of what he wrote, then it's inherently worthwhile to do the rest, or to do more, especially if the more is worth hearing. And one of the things this edition proved, first of all, is that it was worth hearing. Now, I'm not saying you're going to sit down and listen to 52 CDs of Johann Strauss II instantaneously. This is a lovely box, by the way. It's got this giant foam barrier here, which I hope doesn't disintegrate and turn into a toxic waste pool or something like that. But, you got a very good booklet with a complete track listing and index of all the stuff on it. And then all of the discs here in nice order in sturdy cardboard sleeves, which I really like because they protect the CDs. And it's in a very handy and attractive and stable box. So it's well done. Originally these were released as individual discs on Marco Polo at full price too. And now, you've got them all boxed up at a very reasonable price. So it's a deal on top of everything else. And so what is it that makes one of the most important recording projects ever? Well, what makes it important is, like I said, you've got a major composer, a lot of unknown music that's worth hearing, a lot of work and research and care that goes into creating an edition, notable for its completeness. And that's fabulous. Now, there are plenty of Strauss collections. Every major conductor in the world did a Strauss collection. And some have done multiple Strauss collections. There are 5-disc sets or 8 or 9-disc sets. But there's nothing that even approaches this in terms of completeness. Let me just hug it so that you can keep it front and center. Nothing approaches this at all. And I think that it's so exciting to be able to discover this music. And yeah, you're not going to listen to it all at once. Like I said, you'll dip into it here and there, but whatever you dip into, you'll find something to enjoy. And that's the point. And Naxos is doing the same thing with Sousa, which I'm also very, very interested in seeing that come to completion and getting boxed up. I hope it does, because there's also a lot of fantastic music there. Another master of a certain medium who doesn't get a lot of serious attention from the higher echelons of, music academicism. Maybe his music is just not sublime. Maybe not enough of it is in minor keys. I don't know. All I know is that the guy was the best at what he did. And there's a lot to be said for that. If someone is great at something somewhat, specialized, but they're great, there you go. So, definitely one of the most important sets ever recorded, and I recommend it accordingly. Now, if you like Johann Strauss too, if you like lots of Johann Strauss too, there's no law. There's no law that says you have to like tons and tons and tons of this stuff, or that you need to get it just because if you don't, there's like something wrong with you intellectually or in terms of your musical education or attainment or anything like that. None of that matters. It all matters is whether or not you like it or not. But there's also no question that in the history of recordings, there has never been an edition like this, and we're not likely to ever see another. And it was done extremely well with a great deal of care and love, and made possible, by the way, by the opening of Eastern Europe and the availability of a lot of these Eastern European orchestras and radio orchestras that would make records for a fixed fee, inexpensively. That made this possible. And the fact that it may have been inexpensive doesn't reduce its quality or its significance. It's very interesting how classical music people tend to poo-poo discussions of like money, the evils of money, while making money one of the criteria by which they judge things. So let's not be hypocritical about it, and let's just celebrate the complete orchestral works of Johann Strauss II on Naxos. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.